all football edition this week. Chance for you to be a winner. One very, very difficult trivia question about football. Get it right, bam, major award and secondary prize. Need help? Get it from our panel, Dave, Chris Demm, or BB Shea. Once you do that or go multiple choice, you only get the secondary prize. You don't get the major award. Mike will start things out here. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Doing awesome. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well, thank you. Here's your question. Who has started more games at quarterback than anyone else for Andy Reid when Reid is a head coach?
Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb is correct. Cat. Well done. Boom. Boy, those tickets went fast. All right.
We did not budget for that.
Okay.
Is that it? We're done?
Yep. Thank you. Good night.
No.
No?
We'll keep on going, but boy, that's first out of the chute right there.
That's a good get.
That was a good get. Yeah.
Eagles.
I kind of thought McNabb.
Yep. Went to the Super Bowl with him once.
Yeah, that's
once
right.
they lost to the Patriots in Jacksonville. McNabb threw up. If you recall.
Was that the puke game?
Yeah, it's a puke game. And when he threw up against and Terrell Owens was in that game. Everybody thought he was too hurt to play, and he wound up having a really good game. Remember, he had broken his leg like 6 weeks earlier. Danny, how are you?
All right, how are you this morning?
Good, very good. Here we go. Here's your question. Hey. What Hall of Fame quarterback won Super Bowl MVP despite neither running for or throwing a touchdown and barely eclipsing 200 yards passing in the game? What Hall of Fame quarterback won Super Bowl MVP despite neither running for or throwing for a touchdown in the game and barely eclipsing 200 yards passing in that game?
Montana.
It is not Joe Montana, but I like that you went out there on a limb.
Yeah, good for you.
To try it. Y'all got this? What do y'all think?
Barely.
He did not run for nor throw a touchdown pass. He, I believe it was like 207 yards passing for the game.
Was it a Terry Bradshaw, the Steeler era?
Earlier.
Bob Greasy.
Earlier.
Bart Starr?
Later.
Frank Tarkenton?
Earlier.
He was never an MVP.
No, he never won.
No.
Never won the game.
Not Len Dawson.
No, earlier.
All right, Super Bowl II.
Later.
Super Bowl III.
Oh, Namath.
Joe Willie Namath. In that game, I looked up these stats. He had made the guarantee that the Jets would win the Super Bowl. They were heavy underdogs, like 18-point underdogs, probably the biggest underdog ever to win. And he made the guarantee down in Miami, laying next to the pool with the girls. He said, we guarantee we win. That's the first time anybody had really done that. He went out there and had the okay game. He managed the clock and everything. But Matt Snell was the back. Do you remember him? I
remember the name, yeah.
He ran for 138 yards and scored the only touchdown in the game. They won 16-7. They kicked 3 field goals. But Namath still got the MVP because he was,
He's Joe Namath.
He was a star.
Joe Broadway.
Well, a lot of people don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame because his numbers are just okay.
Some say he's one of the most overrated players ever in the NFL.
Well, my father always said that, but he was a Unitas man. My father loved Johnny Unitas.
But he brought, so much attention to the game.
Yep. A lot of swagger.
Yeah.
And I like him. I think he's really cool.
Probably one of the first, you think, big superstars of the NFL,
I think so.
Outside of football and in the culture.
Well, Frank Gifford was a big star. Paul Hornung was an enormous star.
Yeah.
But they didn't do TV like he did they? To the same extent? I mean, he went into acting. He was probably one of the first ones to go into acting, too.
And this game in particular, he just was everything. He made that guarantee.
Jim Brown was a star.
He was. But Namath, that's the argument now about Eli Manning. His numbers are just okay, but he's won 2 Super Bowls and played well in those Super Bowls.
And all of those guys you mentioned, them are all better football players than Namath. Don't you think?
His numbers are not great. I never saw him play.
I mean, they say after college he stunk.
Because
when he got hurt in college.
He did get hurt. He had terrible knee injuries. Yeah. Wally's on the phone to play. Hello, Wally. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for listening. What was the first team to win a Super Bowl, then follow it up with a losing record the next year?
Oh, my gosh. Didn't you ask that yesterday?
No. I asked what team had double-digit losses the next year.
Win a Super Bowl and
losing record the next year, yep.
Well, let's go with those same Jets.
It is not the New York Football Jets, but I understand what you're saying. All right, any guesses on that?
Yep.
Yeah?
Los Angeles Rams.
No,
Didn't they just do it this year?
they did, but they're not the first to do it.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah, all right, that's okay. He's
Back
okay.
you go.
He's all right. Okay, all right. I like your guessing.
Run along, Clarice.
Yeah.
Scurry, scurry.
No.
Back to your hole.
Hurry along now.
Seattle?
No, early, very early. You're going to be shocked.
Early?
Early. The earliest.
Green
The
Bay?
Green Bay Packers from one?
Super Bowl. They won Super Bowls 1 and 2. The next year after winning Super Bowl 2, they went 6 and 7.
Huh.
6, 7 and 1 the next year.
Was Lombardi gone that year?
I think he was. I'm not sure of that. He went back. He coached the Redskins there for a little while.
He did.
He finished with them. Yeah.
I didn't know if he was in that one. If he wouldn't have been in Super Bowl.
He was in Super Bowls 1 and 2. And then they didn't go back again until 32.
Yeah, he had left.
31, yeah.
I want to say he left.
I do too. He may have. And they went 6, 7 and 1. He may have seen the writing on the wall. They weren't going to be as good.
Maybe.
I don't know. Greg, hello. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. Pleasure listening to you.
Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it. How many times did the Rams sack Joe Burrow in Super Bowl 56 last year?
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 9.
Not quite. 7. He got sacked 9 times in a game against Tennessee in the playoffs last year, and they won the game. And then and that was in the divisional round. Then he got sacked 7 times against the Rams. They only lost by 3. Boy, Burrow was running for his life last year.
Most sacks in a game in a Super Bowl?
It may be. That's a good question. I bet it is.
They got to be up there.
Unless the Bears destroyed that poor Patriots
they
team.
did. They did.
85, 86.
That's a pretty good question. I might ask that tomorrow.
Um,
And let me tell you, the Cowboys got after Norris Weiss and Craig Morton that year. Back 78.
Craig.
You know 78.
Yeah, I remember 78.
Baby Shay, 1978 and the Norris Weiss.
Yeah, North Sweet is my favorite.
Down in NOLA, wasn't it?
Down in New Orleans. That's the first time the Super Bowl hosted one. Super Bowl 12. First game I ever watched. First Super Bowl I ever watched. Cowboys beat the Broncos 27-10. We were on opposite sides of that one, Dave.
We were.
But they got after us, the Doomsday defense.
Yeah, they were doomsday, all right. And that Orange Crush.
Well, we turned it over 8 times.
Was that the first defensive MVPs? Was that game?
They were MVPs. That
Randy
was,
White?
And Harvey Martin, I think, split
Harvey
it.
Martin or
And
Too Tall Jones?
It was
One of
Harvey
those
Martin
guys.
and Randy White split it. And I think that might have been the first defensive MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe earlier. I'm not sure. Bob Lilly ever win one?
No.
I don't think so.
Maybe. That's a good question, too. But the Broncos threw 4 interceptions in the first half of that game. More. That's when they got Weiss to replace him. All right, Jody, you're impatient. Let's do this thing. Here we go.
It's kind of you to do it
We're
that way.
ready.
though.
All right, here we go. What player scored the first points of Super Bowl 56 last year? The player that scored the first points in the game.
I'm going to have to ask for help on that one.
All right, do you want our panel or do you want multiple choice?
Let's go multiple choice.
All right. What player scored the first points of Super Bowl 56 last year? Was it Odell Beckham of the Rams, Jamar Chase of the Bengals, Joe Burrow of the Bengals, or Bengals kicker Evan McPherson?
The first one.
That's correct. Odell Beckham. And he left that game injured and has never come back. He's not playing for anybody now, is he? PP Shaywin. He didn't come back. Odell Beckham, he didn't come back this year.
No, he didn't finish the game.
I know he didn't finish the game. He's not playing for anybody now.
No, he's a free agent. Yeah.
Good pickup for next year.
Well, that's right. But didn't he have that weird? He was visiting some teams, but he fell asleep on a plane or didn't have his pants on or something on an airplane.
Might have been.
And they had to ask him to leave.
Well, all year it was
He'd
like
maybe not have recovered.
all year it was like who's going to get him, who's going to get him. But he hurt his knee pretty badly in the last game of the season.
We'll fly him down to Charlotte.
Well, he'd be a good
Pants optional.
He'd certainly be a good.
We'll give him some
good one to
pants.
have. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Doing great. What's up?
Is this sports Ryan or just Ryan?
It's Ryan. It's Bills Ryan. Good Bills.
All right.
Okay.
Bills Ryan.
We have Disney Ryan. We got Sports Ryan. We got Bills Ryan.
If you list Super Bowl MVPs alphabetically by first name, who would be first on the list?
Well, the first name that came to me would be Adrian Peterson. So let's just go Adrian Peterson.
He's never been in it.
Ooh.
Never been in the game. Yeah. Y'all know it?
AA Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Was Aaron Donald not an MVP?
He won it last year? No, because he's only been in the one, Aaron Donald, and it was
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp got the MVP of that game. That's right. That'd be a good guess, too, then.
Because Donald is before Rodgers alphabetically.
That's right.
If you go first.
That's
now.
right.
That's
You're
right.
right. If he had won it last year, and he probably could have, but Cooper Kupp had an amazing game last year.
They both did, yeah.
Sam, hello, how are you?
Good morning, Sam Weiss, B1 in Cincinnati.
Sam Weiss.
How do you do it?
This is a tough question right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Handpicked.
All right.
Well, it just happens to fall in the order. Now, Sam and I are old rivals.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He got me on one last year. So let's see if we can get him here. Only once in Super Bowl history has a quarterback and a wide receiver hooked up for a touchdown pass and catch of over 40 yards in which both players were born in the same city. They were both born in New Orleans. Name the quarterback and the receiver. Only once in Super Bowl history have a quarterback and wide receiver hooked up for a touchdown pass and catch over 40 yards in which both players were born in the same city. They were both born in New Orleans. Name both players, quarterback and receiver.
Well, I'm thinking, was Joe Burrow? No, Joe Burrow was not born in New Orleans. Give me multiple choice.
All right, multiple choice. Here it is. Ken Stabler and Cliff Branch. Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. Or Terry Bradshaw and John Stallworth.
Let's go with Peyton.
That's right. His father's from New Orleans, of course. He's born in New Orleans, and so was Reggie Wayne. Now, Terry's born down in Louisiana.
He was.
I knew that. He was the first guy I thought of.
That's right.
But not New Orleans.
No, and Stallworth is from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in Alabama.
With a banjo on his knee.
Yeah. Well, I just watched one of those great 30-minute shows on the Super Bowl, and the great voice of John Facenda was talking about Stallworth. He's from Alabama, and the folks down there say he's like a good sipping whiskey.
No, you're not. No good whiskey in Alabama. Come on, Facenda. Facenda.
They say he's like
comes in from Tennessee.
He said he's like a cross between a good sipping whiskey and greased lightning. Smooth, but with a strong kick at the end. It's great. It was great.
Good voice.
He
didn't write it.
No, he didn't write it. He didn't even like football, from what I understand.
No, he didn't. He was a voice.
Yeah. Randy Robert, how are you?
Doing good. How y'all?
Excellent. It's good to talk to you today. Let's see if you can get this thing now. Who is the only Ohio State quarterback to ever start a Super Bowl? Only quarterback to play for Ohio State and then start a Super Bowl.
Wow. Ooh, man, Ohio State. They've had some good ones.
The only quarterback to ever attend Ohio State and start a Super Bowl.
Good Lord. I don't have a clue.
Yeah. Do you want to go multiple choice or ask a panel member?
Man, always go big or go home.
Yeah, baby. What you
Come
got?
on.
Hit us
Come
with one.
on.
Hit us with one.
Do what now?
Name a quarterback.
Go big. It's your time. Go big.
Now is your
Go
time.
big.
Go ahead and name a quarterback.
Well, I know Jalen Hurts isn't going to count, is he?
Well,
We're going to go through all of them.
You want to? I know
Say it
he went to a few schools.
OSU's not one of them.
You gotta give us one.
Come on.
Name one.
Oh, my God.
Just name any quarterback.
Give us any one. You can do it.
I know it wasn't Art Schlechter. He was in jail.
No, Art Schlechter.
Let's go with
He's an
this.
Ohio State quarterback.
That's unfair, but accurate.
Do you know Art Schlechter?
Yeah, it's my favorite. Love Schlechter.
No, we've never done time together.
Now, all right.
I say approach this from the angle of not who isn't
Yeah. Who,
from OSU,
but who
Who
went
is.
to ASU? OSU.
OSU.
What are you thinking, Randy Robert?
Man, I'm thinking I don't have a clue.
Do you want to go with a panel or multiple choice, or do you want to just answer?
Because I want to go home.
You're killing me.
You're killing us.
Man.
All right.
We're out of time.
Sorry, they're playing you off.
Who is it?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.